Okay, so good afternoon. This is the Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for public review session, public review session. For April 21st, 2020, 2 p.m. session. There'll be no public testimony during this session. The first item is 2019-202BZ, 2218 East 3rd Street, Brooklyn.
Sorry.
Office is Palatnik. Okay.
I am having, no,
We're not accepting testimony.
this is review session.
It's a
Oh,
review session.
sorry. Oh my. Okay. Is that
Wait a
it?
minute, okay.
I'm having lots of technical difficulties. So
Steve, this is on, right? Because I guess got an email from a text message. Is it on? 1 second. Is it on?
is it on? It says it's recording and live on YouTube.
Okay,
Yes.
because Travis just texted me and she said she couldn't see it, but I guess she sees it now. Okay.
Yeah, I think she was waiting for us to get started and we hadn't started.
Okay.
Apologies to everyone. 2016, right? Okay. So this is 2017-16A, is that correct?
Oh, this is 2019-202A. 202BZ, 2218 East 3rd Street, Brooklyn. Okay, she said it just came on. Okay.
Okay. Good. All right, so this is a new case. This is a 673-622 special permit. We have proof of service of initial hearings to officials. And we do have proof of notice of hearing. The community board recommends approval with 3 opposed. Demolition plans demonstrate that at least 50% of existing perimeter walls will be retained on the perimeter at each floor, along with at least 50% of existing joists at each floor. This site is in the Special Ocean Parkway subdistrict with a separate set of provisions from the usual R4. I'm trying to understand the scope of waivers needed because it's actually seems to be a very small scope given the special district. The as of right FAR is 1.5 and the proposed is 1.29, so there's no FAR waiver. As of right front yards are the greater of 10 feet or aligning with a neighbor, and we have no authority to waive this. The claimed existing non-complying 8-foot 10-inch front yard cannot be further encroached upon. So that section in the side yard has to be pulled back to comply, which I think it does, except on the site plan. So the site plan has to be corrected to show that it's not further encroaching on the front yard. I don't know if that covered porch at the first floor is a permitted obstruction. They need to be able to, they need to show that it's a permitted obstruction. Porches are, but not necessarily covered porches. The existing front yard's legality also has to be demonstrated. So Sanborn map, it can't be drawings that were approved where DOB didn't know. So that would be a pre-61 approval or pre-zoning change approval where the front yard regulations might have been different. As of right, side yards are 2 feet minimum, totaling 10 feet with 8 feet between buildings. The proposed is 3'7" and 7'8" with 9'7" between buildings. The little bit of a strip along the rear that continues the 3'7" side yard is not a distance between a building because there's no building there. So arguably it's permitted, and in any event, that little section could be pulled back to comply. So I need real clarification from the architect. What is it they're looking to have waived with respect to that side yard? Is it what's going on at the roof or at the attic level? Maybe that's it. The drawings just aren't clear at all about that. As to lot coverage, the special district doesn't provide for this. But generally, when you don't know what to do and it sends you back to Article 2, Chapter 3. It instructs you to look at the R41 and R4A requirements. And 23-142 states that open space is governed by yards for those two districts. So it doesn't really make sense that lot coverage in the R4 in this district is 45% if the FAR is 1.5, which is twice the allowable of an R4. And the special district also allows a 20-foot rear yard as of right. So if you just do that, it would be almost impossible, unless you had a very, very large lot, to achieve 45% lot coverage as of right when you have all of those allowable skinny side yards, shallow rear yards. So I don't think that the lot coverage is correctly, let's say, needing a waiver, but I understand if the applicant architect has had these situations in the past with DOB not agreeing, in which case, you know, okay, but I don't actually think it's necessary. Okay, so I will recognize Commissioner Shanda for her comments. Oops, 1 second. What's happening? I don't think I have control. Please unmute her. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't have control.
Okay. So with regards to the existing approved DOB plan, it indicates different wall heights, street wall heights than what is stated in the statement of facts, if the applicant could clarify. With regards, I have similar concerns with regards to the clarity of the waivers that are being requested. With regards to the proposed floor area in the statement of facts and plans do not match. And the outline of the existing floor plan and the elevation should be shown in the proposed plans. It's not clear where the existing footprint ends and where the new one is. So that should be outlined. I also, actually, this is something, while you're talking, I'm just going to look into it and I'll follow up on it.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown.
There are inconsistencies in the measurements between the existing plans and the proposed. An example is the front wall of the existing plan is 20 feet, 10.5 inches with a northern side yard in the front of 3 feet, 4 inches. But in the proposed, the front wall is 20 feet, 7 inches with the northern side yard in the front being 3 feet, 7.5 inches. And then the southern side yard is actually the same in both of them. It's 15 feet, 8 inches. So I assume that part's right.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, 1 second. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. I believe regarding the scope of the waiver, they mentioned that they are calling for lot coverage, open space, and minimum distance between residential buildings. Nothing else. And I wanna actually, I don't have any comments on this, but I want to thank them for keeping the building facade, the house facade, consistent with what is existing in the neighborhood.
Okay. I think the issue of clarity is that they say they need a lot coverage waiver, but it's unclear why. And they say they need a side yard waiver, but it's unclear why, because the drawings really should be hatching out or somehow indicating where it's extending beyond the requirement. That's why we're asking in a case like this, because it's kind of a subtle increase. And so it's kind of hard to figure out why they need these things. Okay. Commissioner Shabeta?
Nothing further from me on this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on.
Yes.
Item number 2, 2019-272BZ. 272BZ. Oh, shoot, sorry. 272BZ, 600 6th Avenue, Manhattan.
Okay, this is a legalization. We have proof of service of initial application to officials and proof of notice of hearing to officials and neighbors. Community board waived its recommendation. We have DOI sign off. Fire department had some comments. I know there was a response to that on Friday, and I'm not sure whether fire department's okay with it. I don't know when the facility opened. I know now it's closed, but when did it open to begin with? And one of the reasons I asked that is because this is in a mixed-use building with residential uses beginning at the 3rd floor and heavy weights being used in the gym. So in this situation, normally we ask for notice to be given to residents in the building. Not sure how we deal with that now. For instance, might building management be able to advise us on whether neighbors have complained about the noise? Sometimes we have conflict between building management and neighbors, because sometimes management owns the retail space, right? So anyway, so that's a question for me. So Commissioner Shanda?
So with regards to FDNY, we received a letter this afternoon,
Okay.
and FDNY has no objection.
Okay.
There's just a little typo in the statement of facts with regards to the community board. It's actually community board 5 and not 1. The other thing I had with regards to the proposal as
Sorry,
described in the statement,
where did it say community board 1?
I think in the statement of fact, it states community board 1.
Okay.
One of the concerns I have in the statement of fact is that it doesn't really describe the program of the PCE. So it is absolutely not clear what kind of program it operates, and thereby determine the kind of sound attenuation that would be needed. And I had similar, since concern is that since buildings cannot be notified, or even if they are notified, utilization, maybe there's no utilization. So who is going to even confirm anything? So we may have to put some kind of condition or something whereby we, it would be more of like any issue comes up, it would be pulled for compliance.
Okay. Right. That's why I thought maybe a letter from management might help, but I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
No comment.
Okay.
Okay, Sissa.
Shweta?
Yeah, I had a question for them, whether they posted in the lobby, because like the chair said, this is a mixed use building. So they can provide answer for that. The second thing is I haven't read in the statement of facts anything that relates to the EDA accessibility, and looking at the plans, it sounds like if you look at the first floor plan, it sounds like there is no access to the elevator, and I'm not sure even if the elevator is going down to the cellar. So you need to clarify about the accessibility.
Oh, I thought there's a drawing that shows ADA access. There is. You're right. I'm going to unmute Commissioner Shanda because she's looking at the drawing right now.
So if you look at drawing AA, it shows an existing elevator all the way towards the top of the drawing. And that's the common elevator of the building.
Okay.
And that goes into the cellar. Of course, it shows up in the hatched area.
Okay.
That's it, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arguably, that shouldn't be hatched because, well, I don't know, because we're not approving.
Right.
We're not controlling that, but that's
exactly.
And we often see with these PCs that the only way to get down is through a shared elevator, even in a residential building. As long as the tenants are okay with it, I guess that's. Okay, and Commissioner Shibeta.
No comment from me.
All right.
Case has a
I'd just
hand
like to make a comment. Their statement of facts refer to hours that differ from those stated in their plans. The plans say 5:30 to 11 Monday through Saturday, 7 to 9 Sunday. Their statement of facts is 5 to 9 weekdays, 7 to 3 on the weekend. So to the extent that they are not those stated in the plans, if they could amend their plans.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, next item is 2019-296BZ, 84 Franklin Street, Manhattan. And we received a fire department letter also.
Is it a letter of no objection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Franklin. Yeah.
Okay, let me know when you get there. We have proof of.
Yeah, the fire department has no objection, and they request that the BSA add a condition to the application that a fire alarm system shall be installed in the space.
Oh, okay, so condition. Okay, we do have proof of service of initial application to officials and of notice of hearing to officials and neighbors. Community board recommends approval. Sorry, one second. We do need a certificate of no effect from Landmarks Commission. I didn't find that anywhere. We do have DOI. This application seems to be the extension of the existing use from 88 Franklin. So we don't see the receptionist area or the ADA access to the cellar. The elevator at the subcellar level seems to collect from the subcellar at 88 Franklin, but not at the cellar. So it's subcellar level from, sorry, the elevator at the subcellar level seems to collect from the subcellar at 88 Franklin, but doesn't collect at the cellar. And it isn't clear where the opening to 88 Franklin goes. Does it go into a fire stair? And a drawing really needs to be provided on the proposed set that shows 88 Franklin grayed out or hatched that it's not part of the application. But, and wouldn't 88 Franklin also have to come back here for an amendment? It's also nearly expired since it was granted in 2011. And if I'm not mistaken, in terms of how DOB works, this side has to comply with all the zoning and code requirements on its own, unless the two sides are combined together under a single DOB permit with appropriate easements and so on. So they're trying to not have a complete facility on this side, and either you provide all the access and egress and so on this side independently, or you file this as an application where, like you sometimes see in restaurants that go from one building to another, one side relies on the other for egress and DOB reviews the entire space as one. So I don't think it really, the application is fully formed this way. So I'm going to recognize Commissioner Shanda.
Yeah, I was also confused with the accessibility and how the two facilities are being connected. I see that they're connected on the ground floor via a door, but I had similar comment as to why the elevator does not stop at the cellar level where most of the treatment rooms are. Also, I had questioned regarding the massage therapists. According to the statement, there are 11 massage therapists, and they have submitted licenses for 11 massage therapists, but 3 have expired as of March. So.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Otley Brown.
They didn't detail any of their fire safety measures.
Okay. You mean in terms of sprinklers, alarms, or anything like that?
Yeah, their statement doesn't mention anything about it.
Okay. And to that point, fire department said they're conditioned on having, their approval is conditioned on having a fire alarm installation, but we don't know what the situation is next door. And obviously, whatever the situation is next door, it needs to be continued onto this side. So we should understand what's going on next door.
Right.
Okay. Okay, and then Commissioner Sheta.
In addition to what is said, I didn't see a FEMA map submitted.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. And Shabeta.
The only thing I would add is that I just want confirmation from them that the location's closed. When I checked on the website, it said it was still open. I realized it might not just been updated, but usually the Google searches have been updated that showed all the previous PCs to be closed. So I just wanted to make sure that this one's closed, or if it's not, what the story is.
Okay. And Commissioner Shanda had her hand up.
Yeah, Chair, just to go back to the ADA accessibility, I think what is odd is that the cellar floor is physically connected to the abutting building, but as you said, we don't know if the abutting building has ADA accessibility for the cellar floor to be accessed from the ground floor. It's a rather circuitous way to go about it, I have to say.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, if the cellar floor is an extension of what is happening on the 88th Street side, then we need to make sure that 88th Street side is ADA accessible.
Yes. Okay. Okay, fair.
Case has his hand up.
There's an inconsistency in their statement of facts versus their plans with regard to the mezzanine. Statement of facts details it as 634 square feet, 732 in the plans.
Mhm.
So they just need to reconcile the mezzanine space.
Thank you. Great. All right, we can go to the next.
Next one is 2019-297BZ, 588 Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. It's also a PCE.
Okay, and this is also a legalization, and I didn't know about this type of activity, virtual golf. So we have proof of service of initial application to officials. We have proof of notice of hearing to officials and neighbors. Community board waives its recommendation. We also have DOI. Just to clarify, the statement of fact says there's no cooking on site, but there is a bar, which of course is shown on the drawings. I don't see a dressing room. I'm just curious how that works. People are just coming from the office or whatever, and their street clothes and drive a few balls. I don't know, just asking. I wonder because I did find a Vimeo clip of this actual site to show you how the virtual golf works. So you're actually hitting a ball into a screen, sort of like the old-fashioned projection screens like you had in elementary school. And it hits it into this sort of vinyl screen. So I'm curious whether the noise from the impact to the ball and the noise of the impact onto the screen is anything that might be annoying to neighbors. And this is an office building, so I don't know who the upstairs neighbors are, and I just want to know whether there have been any complaints about that. So I recognize Commissioner Shanda, and I need to close it before the rain starts.
No, I had no comments on this one.
Okay, sorry. Unmute Commissioner Otley Brown. There we go. Go ahead.
No comments. No comments.
Okay. And Commissioner Sheta
Nothing from me. Thank you.
and, oops, sorry, Commissioner Sheta.
Okay. Nothing from me. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
And the fire department did submit a letter of no objection. They said that they have a fire suppression system and fire alarm system that has been inspected by the fire department and it's current with their permits. Okay, so that,
Tony, just one second. There's an inconsistency in the square footage of the PCE. It's listed as 3,784 square feet in the statement of facts, 3,162 in the plans.
Funny, okay. So, funny because it's the same comment in 3 completely different applications. That's odd.
okay, we done?
Yeah.
Okay, so this concludes the public review session for April 21st, 2020, 2 p.m. We'll now commence with the public hearing. for April 21st, 2020 at 2 p.m. And so the first item is 2019-202BZ, 2218 East 3rd Street, Brooklyn. This application is from the office of Eric Palatnik. Please call in or Zoom in. Six 558-8656. Meeting ID number is 359-995-286. Travis.
Okay. Please call in for 2019-202BZ applicants. 2218 East 3rd Street. Can somebody
I'm
text?
texting Travis. 1 sec.
There we go. Somebody's here.
Is that Elise?
Oops. I don't know who it is. Somebody with the
Hello, it's Joel Mealy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it's the architect. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Mealy, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Long time no speak.
Yeah, I'm just kind of crazy right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Eric calling in? I don't know.
I spoke to Elise, so I assume Elise is calling in.
She's in.
Okay.
She's just connecting.
Okay, it's Elise.
When you can hear, please speak, Elise.
Hi, Elise.
Good.
Okay.
Hi.
All right, let me swear you in. Can you speak? You can hear us?
Can you speak?
Her audio is connecting.
I don't see her audio. Elise, can you hear? No, we're not hearing you. We're still not hearing you. You may need to call in with your telephone. I
Oh,
don't see.
she's connecting.
Hello.
There we go.
Hi, okay, now we can hear you.
Sorry, I was speaking with Joel, so I
don't see her audio.
Close off your YouTube. YouTube, turn it off.
We're not hearing you.
Okay,
Okay.
Hi.
ready? Okay,
Yeah, hi.
raise your right hand. Raise your hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Thank you very much.
Joel?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Thank you, Joel, for getting on before me. So firstly, we need this special permit home enlargement, mostly because of the attic, like you pointed out. It's the side yard in the attic. Lot coverage, Joel can tell you, it was brought up by the examiner, and that is why he added it
Okay.
as part of an objection. For the front yard, I wanted to point out that we have a C of O for the current existing home with the front yard, and the part that we're proposing does not encroach into the front yard. So we're not proposing to add any encroachment in the front yard.
So what do you have to establish the front yard is a legal non-compliant condition?
We have a certificate of occupancy for the existing building there.
That doesn't indicate that it's that just means DOB didn't catch it.
I mean, we can also look for a Sanborn map if you need.
Yes.
I'll see if I have, if I submitted one originally.
Yes. We need a Sanborn map.
Well, how about the final survey from when the C of O was issued?
No, because the survey, that doesn't indicate that DOB that it complies with zoning. That just indicates that nobody picked up that it didn't comply with zoning, right? We have a lot of these kind of cases where they get, famously, we even have ones that have COs and The whole place is occupied by a completely illegal
So-
use, right?
It was always my understanding that the DOB required a final survey when you were done with doing an enlargement to verify that you actually met the conditions you said you were going to meet.
So-
Otherwise, why else would they require a final survey?
So rather than have this.
Because you're right, the inspector does not come out to measure anything. He couldn't tell where the front yard was. You know, he's looking at a set of plans. He doesn't even come out with a ruler. So
Right. So rather than have this debate, the simplest is we need.
just give you the Sanborn.
Sanborn that's like a pre-61 Sanborn or whenever the zoning changed, if it did the front yard requirements. And-
Okay, so the C of O is fairly new. It's only about 5 years old.
Okay, so I'm just going to say it again. We're not going to debate about the CO. We're talking about whether the front yard is a legal condition, a legal non-compliant condition. And the way we establish it is by a Sanborn map or some other pre-61 condition or pre-zoning change condition that shows that the front yard has been that depth all along. Usually Sanborn maps show that all the houses line up in a row.
Yep.
Therefore,
We can order a Sanborn map. It's not a problem. We do it all the time.
yes, good. Okay.
What else? And the covered porch, there is no covered porch, so we were a little bit confused about that comment.
There's a little overhang over the porch on the.
That's
the roof over the existing first floor part of the building. I need to leave the roof over. That's the existing roof. I mean, if I don't have a roof, that means every time it rains, the front room gets wet. That's the existing piece of the house that sticks out 1 foot 2 further than it's supposed to.
Wait.
If you look at AP 106,
Mhm.
it says portion of existing first floor. I assume that's the little roof you're talking about.
No, actually, I thought there's also a little, I'm not at the drawing fast enough, but I thought there's also like a little covered porch area. I don't mean that little thin strip. I thought
Yeah, there's no other covered porch that I'm aware of, unless someone changed my
I'll-
drawings.
maybe you thought the back was the front because there's like a stairwell in the rear of the home.
I'll look, but keep going.
There was also a comment, Elise, about 4-inch. There was a 4-inch discrepancy in the front yard width, the width of the front building, the existing building.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I wanted to clarify that we're actually showing that we're removing 4 inches off the width. Apparently, they added brick to the that front part of the house that made it 4 inches wider than what it should have been. When they added the brick, we're going to take the brick off. That's how we're getting back to the 3 foot 7.5 inch yard.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at the site plan, we show like a little dashed line showing the piece coming off in the side yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the discrepancy that led to the. I think Commissioner Brown asked about that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that's I don't know how else to show a removal. That's what we're actually doing. We're actually taking that off.
Okay. So 1 foot 2 front yard. Okay, keep going.
At least there was one other thing about, we don't need the distance between buildings at the rear part because there is no building back there. That's correct. We only have it at the attic.
Okay, so it's the attic that's your issue with side yard. With the
Yes, and it's only if you look at the attic plan, you see it's like the shape of a T.
Yeah.
So the sitting area, actually, that wall, that little 13-foot, 2-inch width wall is too close to the adjoining building, even though there is no attic on the adjoining building. If you extend the line vertically upward, technically it's too close.
Okay, if you could just clarify that, I guess it's also the slope of your attic, right? That would be. the slope-
Yeah, so the rest of the part goes down to the roof, so I assume there is no floor there. It doesn't really have a problem there. It only has it where the wall goes up, where there's a gabled end on the wall.
Okay, so just.
But if
clarify-
you want, I can clarify that on the I can do that on the elevation.
Yeah,
I really can't do, and on the section if you want, I really can't do it. I guess I could do it on the plot plan. I don't know.
well, on the plot plan, you could just have.
At
some-
attic only.
Yeah, at attic only.
Yeah, and I'll show the dotted lines of the attic. I can do that, and I'll show the width of it so you can see how it's not even the whole length. It's just at the attic.
Okay, that would be great. Okay.
I'm trying to think. We're still worried about the porch. We didn't figure that one out yet.
No, I'm looking and I know.
Okay, so there was one other issue that I'm not sure. I might have made a mistake with regard to. I know someone, and I think it was Commissioner Brown again, brought up the fact. Oh no, it wasn't Commissioner Brown. I'm not sure. Yes, about the floor area quantities and the diagrams and the numbers. And I think what happened was, at some point, I was asked to take the proposed greenhouse off. And when I did that, I may not have deducted the floor area associated with the greenhouse that I took off.
Mm-hmm.
And my problem is, if I don't, I know why you don't want to include the greenhouse, because it's subject to buildings. However, buildings is going to say that's floor area.
Right, it is, right.
Okay, and if I don't get that floor area, even though I comply, if I don't list that floor area as proposed on my BSA sheet, will there be I guess you're not authorizing any floor area, correct?
Right.
So he shouldn't have a question about it, correct?
That's what we do sometimes is you can dash in the greenhouse with a little note that says subject to DOB approval.
Which is what I wrote, but I still included the floor area in my floor area calculations. So I may, if I understand what you want me to do, I may have to reduce my floor area calculations to reflect there is no greenhouse, and assume that if you grant the, I don't know if this is a special permit or a variance, it won't reference any floor area quantity, so that when I go back, it'll still comply, and he's not going to question why I'm larger than what the BSA said I would have.
Well, usually we do reference, but what you could do on the drawing is say subject to DOB approval, and you can say the area of the greenhouse.
Oh, okay, and just not include it on the chart.
Yeah.
Don't include the floor area.
Right.
But just give the floor area. Okay, I got it. I'll do that. That's fine. That sounds reasonable. At least then I have it on the drawing, and if he questions it, I can say, look, they even said,
right,
that the greenhouse would be this size. It just doesn't count as floor area to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can do that. Is there anything else, Elise?
I think there was a question about street wall heights, but I wasn't.
Yeah, there was.
Commissioner Shanda, you had a question about that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to locate the plan.
And
The street.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the plans are not very readable. According to the DOB plan, approved plan, it doesn't show a street wall height. It just shows a total height of 26 foot 1 inches.
You're correct.
So I don't know where the existing street wall height is indicated as stated in the statement of fact. That's really what I was getting at.
Right. So, okay. So you're bringing up something that perplexed me when I was drawing the existing conditions. It bothered me greatly that I couldn't figure out where the street wall was, the height of the existing building. But I did see on the approved plans in his notes that he referred to maximum street wall height, even though he didn't actually draw one. So I had to assume that if that's the only thing I had to go by, that's what the existing was, and that's what I did.
Okay.
I can, if you want, what I'll do is I can
If you can include that,
print out the approved drawings again and highlight where he refers to it.
that would be fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
And
you're
then
welcome.
I guess
We're
my
not
last question.
waiving- Obviously, we're not, this isn't a request for a street wall height waiver, right?
No, it is not. It's just making sure that any of the enlargement that is happening is well within whatever was previously approved.
Yep.
The attic enlargement, I just wanted to understand where that attic location was in relation to the street wall height.
Understood.
The last thing I just want to verify is, because we talked about side yard in a lot of different contexts, you're clear on that now, right? Because you talked about it encroaching into the front yard and not shown on the plot plan, but I think that was covered.
Yes.
Okay.
It's only the porch we still have to figure
No,
out.
no, I think what I was maybe seeing was that strip was being, now I see on the drawing, there's a dash line on the, I'm sorry, on the first floor plan, there's a dash line, which is maybe the dimension line, and I was looking at the porch as extending past of the new section, of the additional section.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I think I'm wrong because you're maintaining the 10-foot there. Your column is 10 foot back.
Yes, correct. That's why we show the additional 1'2" back from the existing 8'10" front yard.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so just ignore the porch question.
Okay, I feel better now. There actually is a covered porch, though. You're right. It's just underneath the it's underneath the building. I see it now.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Everybody else got their questions answered? Yes? Commissioner?
Yeah, sorry, I had asked the question regarding showing the outline of the existing floor. Since it's related to the attic, it doesn't make sense to show the outline.
To show the what? Sorry.
Yeah, I had asked that that you show the outline of the existing floor plan and elevation. But since this is only related to the attic, I'm not sure how relevant that is.
Oh, because there is no attic right now. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. An existing attic, right? There's no existing. Okay. All right. So if you could just graphically clarify the waivers that are being sought, and then we're going to add your greenhouse notation. Okay. Great. All right then.
Okay.
So I don't know that there's really anything more that needs to be discussed on this, right? So yes, other than we're inviting the members of the public, as I'm being reminded by council, members of the public to call in on this application, please, 2019-202BZ, 2218 East 3rd Street in Brooklyn. You can call in 646-558-8656. And while we wait to see if there are any callers, I just want to suggest that because there's nothing substantive on this application, it's still outstanding, I don't think, that we could probably close this and you just make these changes to the drawings. Is that okay with everybody? Yes.
It's okay with me.
Okay. I know it would be okay with you. I'm just checking with the council. Okay, so then the time delay on this is very long on between us speaking and public hearing. That's why I'm sort of stalling. Okay. Okay, then. So then I would like to make a motion to close this.
Chair Perlmutter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chanda,
Hi.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shabeta.
All right.
And So we'll put this on for a decision. We'll let you know when that is, but this is a decision where plans have to be amended. So we'll put it on as soon as we can, but it'll be a little bit, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, the next item is 2019-272BZ, 600 6th Avenue, Manhattan. And this is an application from the firm of Rothkrug and Rothkrug.
There's Todd. He's here.
Okay, Todd, you can speak?
Good afternoon. I tried to
Hey.
jump in a little early to limit the delay.
Okay.
Todd Dale for the applicant. Benny swearing.
Mhm.
Okay, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do so affirm. So I was able to listen to the review session earlier. It seemed like there were a few questions. Hopefully I can answer some of them now. The first is just to clarify, the facility opened for business in October 2019. I think that was noted in one of the revised statements, but I will just clarify October 2019 is when it opened. You know, with respect to any questions about possible disturbance of the use, I would just state that there have been no known complaints. And this is also not the type of facility that would be likely to generate complaints. I'll point out a few things. First, the activity space for this PCE is in the cellar, and the residential units are on the 3rd floor, so we have multi-floor separation. Second, there really are no heavy weights or large machines that would deal with vibration. If the board could take a look, we submitted some interior photographs with one of the recent submissions, and you'll see that there are only hand dumbbells that are used, and there's a few battle rope facilities set up to expand upon. There was a brief discussion of that it was a circuit training in the statement, but what SWAT 440 does is it is circuit training. So individuals will sign up for a class on 10-minute intervals. And I believe it's only one person at a time. Sometimes they might do 2 at a time. And there's an instructor there. And people will come in these 10-minute intervals to do circuits on very limited basis. And they run through it in like 40 minutes. So they will come in, they will do their circuit. And one instructor can work with different people at multiple stations that are set up. But the facility does have sound attenuation mats installed. You can see them in the photographs. But if you look at the photographs, these are small hand weights that even if this is not what they do, but literally if someone took them and threw them as hard as they could at the ground, they're not going to cause any weight or vibration based on how far they're away from other residential uses and the mats that are there. But it's very limited. It's also a small facility, so there really aren't too many people in it at one time. And as I said, since October 2019, we reached out to the operator, as we do with all our PCEs. They had received no known complaints. The community board waived, their recommendation, and we just haven't heard any issues whatsoever. Obviously, with the current circumstances, there are no classes going on, so we can't reconfirm that. But that's the status of what they do there.
Right. But when you gave notice on this, you didn't do a lobby posting, though.
We did not do a lobby posting. I'm not sure when this was filed. I don't know if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, I think that this may have been before the lobby postings started coming forth with these. I don't know when this was filed, but
This was filed in October.
yeah,
Like right
so,
before it opened.
but truly there's no issues. And this is a small facility in the cellar that's separated. And I just point to those photographs showing that this is not like an Equinox or a Crunch where you have the large weights or the machines that possibly could create vibration. And then there is the multi-floor separation. With respect to the hours, The hours on the plan are correct because when they opened for business, they were still, it was a new business trying to figure out the hours. They decided to go with the widened expanded hours, which I believe on the plans are listed as 5:30 to 11, in order to provide more flexibility. But as I said, this is not a walk-in type gym. This is you register ahead of time, and they just want to provide flexibilities to find out where the clientele are going to want their classes, scheduled.
So the statement of fact says 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and weekend 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. What are the hours?
On the plan, hang on a second, let me bring up the plan. I believe the plan says 5:30 to 11 p.m., Sunday 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So slightly different, expanding. And as I said, they expanded because they were trying to match what the clientele wanted, and the plans reflect a larger hours to provide them more flexibility as they move forward. Program. It was noted that the fire department did issue the letter of no objection, or excuse me, the email of no objection today. And I would just confirm what Commissioner Chanda said. The application was sent to Community Board 5, and the application form says Community Board 5, but there is a typo in the statement that says Community Board 1, but it is Community Board 5.
Okay. So my question is, because you have such long hours till 11 p.m., the original one was much earlier, was till 9 p.m., which arguably you could tolerate, but 11 p.m. is already late for a resident. Might you be able to get a letter in the time, because as you know, we close these things, but we don't put it on for decision. Might you be able to get a letter from building management about whether they've had any complaints on this?
Sure. I mean, if we're going to close and do that, we can reach out. I would say, the letter is going to be based on their activity prior to the current situation,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
we'll do our best to reach out to the property manager or property owner to get a letter confirming that there haven't been any issues.
Okay, that'd be good. Any other comments from other commissioners? Anybody want to add anything? Okay. So I think, and so now we can see if there are any members of the public who want to speak on this. Again, very long time delay. So this is 2019-272BZ, 606th Avenue in Manhattan. If there are any members of the public who would like to speak on this, please call 646-558-8656, meeting number 359-995-286. And in the interim, so if you could just make the corrections about just to clarify the hours. So we have the hours on the plans, but just in your cover letter, just to clarify that the plans are correctly reflecting the hours.
100%. And also, since we're reaching out, I will reconfirm with the manager just to, double check those are the hours, but that was the last conversation we had.
Okay, great. And so we just need the letter from management and the corrected information on hours, right? Those are the only issues, right? Are we good with no? Okay, everything else was fine. Great. All right then, so I'd like to make a motion to close.
Chair Perlmutter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shabeta.
Aye.
Okay.
So all we're getting is a revised statement of facts and a letter from the management.
Yeah, I'm not even sure you need the revised statement of facts. It's a cover letter that clarifies
Okay.
what the hours are and that they should match what it says on the plans. And if the plans are wrong, then they should be corrected as
So
well.
just a cover letter. Okay. Fine.
We will do that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item is 2019-296BZ, 84 Franklin Street, Manhattan, also a Roth Group case. Okay, Todd, waiting for Todd. Todd, are you in?
Yes,
Okay, so do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your statement before the board, in your testimony before the board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do affirm. Thank you.
Proceed.
So we did, I did listen to the review session again, hopefully provide some clarification and some answers now, and we can respond to other issues in a submission. First, just to confirm, the fire department did issue the email of no objection this afternoon. There was the condition in there regarding the fire alarm system. In any subsequent submission, we can include any fire alarm job application number if it's been established at this point. I don't know. Just generally, just to clarify, as was discussed, this is a expansion of an existing air spa facility, which is located at 88 Franklin, that was approved by the board under 27-11BZ. Because of the success they've had there, the opportunity arose to rent space in the adjoining building, and this design is intended to create a larger space. Now, there was some discussion originally on about whether we could include this as part of 27-11, but because the Department of Buildings determined that 2 separate job numbers were issued, and I had discussion with board staff, it was determined because we had 2 different DOB objections that we were dealing with, that there had to be 2 different calendar numbers. So that's why this one was filed separately. I would say, and I'll try and clarify it a little bit, that the design of this building, especially with respect to ADA, was designed so that the ADA access would operate independently of the other space. And I'll try and clarify that, but they are intended to be a combined space. With respect to the ADA, there is a entrance, and I believe that there is an egress path shown on the most recent plan set that was submitted. There is an entrance for 84 Franklin that can be used in the case of an emergency or in the case of a situation where you have a customer who needs direct access. However, from a standard operational standpoint, they are not going to use that main entrance except for egress and ADA access. Because this is a gym facility and you want to have a lobby where people check in, the main entrance for customers and patrons will still be at 84 Franklin. Now, I will get confirmation, but
88 Franklin.
yes, 88 Franklin's going to be the main entrance. You're right. Yeah, I got to get my 88s and 84s straight. So the existing, I'll say, the existing entrance will still be used the same for the lobby and the check-in.
So that's why you need to give us plans of 88 Franklin and show it on the drawing combined, because we can't figure out how egress and ADA access is working if you're relying on 88 for some of this. We can't figure out if in its totality it's
that's right. I will reach out to I'm not sure if it's the same architect that did 84 Franklin. I will take a look. Let me take a look quick here, but hang on a second.
But even this architect could just copy what it has from the other.
Copy it's just as a plan, just for review, like an expanded floor plan. But
and it'll just, they always write not in contract or not a part of the application, but it's helping us understand the layout, right?
Sure. So I'll make a note that we can do something, but just to briefly explain, this elevator, as I understand, also the one that's in 84 Franklin, which is the new building, is a new elevator that's being put in that would provide the access down to the subcellar level. There are 2 paths or 2 connections between the buildings, one at the cellar and one at the subcellar, and I think one at the cellar level. But that entrance at the new building really is just going to be designed for special access. But we'll get that plan and we'll clarify that. But I would note, as far as, I think there was a brief question or a comment raised about, ADA access to the existing building. I would say that the approved plans from the BSA note ADA access, and there was also a certificate of occupancy issued, and that CO never would have been issued unless the current site had proper ADA access. But that doesn't change it. We'll get that plan sent out. There's a question, I think, Commissioner Shabeta raised a question about whether they're open. They're not open. If you go to the website, there's a big warning that comes up that says we look forward to serving you in the future. So I can confirm that they're not open for business right now.
Okay.
I think there was a question. We talked about the opening hours, the dual application status, the ADA access, the fire safety. As I said, I'll confirm to see if they filed the alarm yet. And then there is a typo on the plans or a discrepancy on the plan with regards to the mezzanine floor area. There's a table and the statement referenced, I think, the 634, but the plan sheet says 732. I'll reach out to the architect and just figure out what the square footage is for the mezzanine to make sure it's consistent across all sheets. That's
Okay. And then we also had, we need updated massage therapist licenses. They seem to, some of them are old. Commissioner-
Yeah, I'm not sure when they were submitted, but you know, we can just go to the New York State website and type in the name and find out what's going on with that.
Okay. Commissioner Shanda, did you want to say something?
No, that was my question.
Okay. And then, okay, so, yeah, so in terms of 88 Franklin, since this is your client, right? So are they applying for a renewal?
Oh, yes, I mean, I definitely think that they, you know, that is the plan, but since they weren't sure what the timing would be on the construction of this, and since it had to be a separate application, they didn't want to delay this one any more than needed. I think the other one expires in
11.
2021.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
not sure when it was granted. It may have been in 2022 that it was granted. So
it was granted in 2011. So,
okay.
so you have 2021. But yeah, it's like they sort of should be riding together. But anyway, okay, just to make sure that we're on the same page with them. Commissioner Shetta had a question.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the FEMA map with the others.
Sure. Do we, I mean, this is an existing building in the center of Manhattan. I mean, is a FEMA map, it's fine. We can provide it. It just doesn't seem specific to this particular application.
Thank you.
I mean, it's easy enough, right? You just go on the firm website and you download it.
Yeah.
In fact, you can go on Zola and they have access to those.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, we normally provide FEMA maps when we're dealing with new construction when it's a key issue, and it was just an oversight. It's not something we normally do with PC applications, but that's fine.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else. Anything I left out? Anybody? No? Okay. So let's see if there's any member of the public who would like to speak on this. This is application 2019-296BZ 84 Franklin Street. Why does it say 8484?
No idea.
Is this 8284 or anything like that? No. Anyway, we should correct the address to whatever it's supposed to be. But anyway, 84 Franklin Street, Manhattan. And if you would like to speak on this application, the number is 646-558-8656 with an ID number 359-995-286.
286.
Okay, so so just by way of stalling, because it takes a little while for time delay. So we can't close this hearing because we do want to see the plans that clarify ADA access and egress through 84 to 88. But other than that, and mezzanine floor area correction, and I think otherwise we were okay, right?
Oh, you need a CNA? You also need a CNA? Did you mention that?
Yeah, sorry, we need a CNE, not CNA, a CNE from
Sorry,
Landmark,
CNE, sorry.
right?
Just to clarify on that point, the plans show that they're not planning any signage or changes to the frontage whatsoever. So I don't believe a CNE.
No, I think actually, unless, no, Landmarks requires something, unless it's considered minor work. So you need to clarify with Landmarks what it's doing, because even a change to the interior can affect the exterior, right? For instance, you're installing an elevator, Landmarks will look at the impact of doing the structural work related to the elevator, things like that. So
That's fine. We're reaching out to the architect for the combine. I will ask them what the status is of Landmark's review, and if they said it's not required, I'll provide an explanation as to that.
okay, but in that case, not just an explanation, then cite to something from Landmarks that you don't need.
Sure.
You know?
Sure, that's fine. So just to clarify, I see 5 things. The mezzanine area clarification, updated licenses, the FEMA map, the landmarks and CNE approval and or explanation, and then a multi-building plan that shows the access between the sites and ADA egress and access.
Right, and also, fire department has a condition that you'll install a fire alarm.
We agree to.
Right, but so I think fire department may not have been aware of the relationship between this and the adjacent site. We need to understand what is the fire safety system next door. Are there sprinklers? Are there alarms? Like, what's the situation? Because I would think coverage would need to be the same on both sides, or fire department needs to weigh in on that. Okay, so provide us that information on the mission, okay?
So just to clarify, you want us to provide the information on the existing fire alarm and sprinkler in 88 Franklin, which is the existing?
Correct.
Sure. And if the fire department has any follow-up questions, we'll ask. But, we'll provide all this, but just to state again, the intent of design was really so that these two sites could be operated independently. So we just want to clarify that there's no intent that any fire safety and or egress requires the adjacent building. Each one is going to be designed to operate independently, even if there is access between the two. But we'll include that in this.
Understood, but that's the part where we were confused, because you don't have ADA access to all the floors from this side,
Sure we do.
right? No,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
don't have access at cellar level. This elevator does not stop at the cellar.
This elevator, let me
Doesn't-
clarify.
On the drawings, the elevator is showing not stopping at the cellar. It skips the cellar for some strange reason and goes right to the subcellar. Maybe it's a mistake on the drawings. It skips the cellar and goes right to the subcellar where it comes out, and then you go into 88 Franklin. I'm unmuting Commissioner Shanda.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the
fine.
reason it does not stop in the cellar is on one side is the wall of the 88 Franklin. On the other side, it says open to below, which basically, I don't know why it's open to below to subcellar. And then the other side is the staircase.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a great difference in the cellar level between the treatment area and the utility room area. So that's the reason it does not have any opening. But we do to make sure that the cellar level is ADA accessible, whether it is through 84 or 88 directly, if possible.
Understood. We'll get the clarification.
Right.
We'll pass it on as a project to the architect for an explanation.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's the thing, is if it's truly a standalone location, you need to show that it's meeting all the requirements as a standalone. That's why I think we raised the 88, because it seems like that it's not a standalone.
Understood.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. We will let you know when the continuation is.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next item is 2019-297 BZ, 588 Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. And this is Neil Weisbrod from Prior Cashman. Hi, Neil.
Speak as soon as you can hear us.
Neil?
Yeah, I think he's still connecting.
Hello?
Mr. Weisbard, please speak as soon as you're able to. We don't see him either. There he goes, maybe. There we go. Can you speak?
Can't hear you.
It's not working yet. I don't know why there's such a delay. And if you can't get voice to work on the video, then you can also call in.
646-558-8656. Meeting ID number is 359-995-286. Wow.
Yeah, I don't see that he has audio at all on his dial-ins. Mr. Weisbart, please just dial in with using your telephone. Here we go. He just did that. Oops.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can
Hi,
hear you
I tried
now.
using you. I apologize. I tried YouTube. So hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I listened to a review session. I've spoken to the operator and the architect, and I can quickly respond to the comments. Where do people get
I'm sorry,
changed?
Mr. Weisbart. I'm sorry. Ms. Matias, do we
Yep.
need to swear in?
Swear him in. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's my fault. Do you raise your right hand? You raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
So as I was stating, most people come to the golf simulating facility in the clothes that they're going to golf with, but for people who need to change, they do so in the locker room.
Where's the locker room?
Not in the locker room, excuse me, in the bathroom.
In the bathroom. Okay. Okay.
Regarding the sound, the operators told me they've actually gone to the floor above them. There is no noise. It's the hitting of the golf balls and into the soft screen cannot be heard, and there have not been any complaints. And then finally, the inconsistency with the plans. The plans are correct. The facility is 3,162 square feet. I revised the statement of facts and I have sent it to submit.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, anybody have any questions, comments?
And he's also stated in the statement of facts that there's no cooking on site.
Right, that he said before. I'm just
Yeah.
observing there's also a bar, so though there's no cooking, there's a bar.
Yeah, there's a
But
small.
I
bar.
listened on the Vimeo that I saw, the owner was saying they want people to be able to be comfy and hang out, and that's why they have a bar. They don't want them to run away. That makes it kind of like a little mini golf club, I guess. Anyway, so here's inviting the public to speak on this. This is application number 2019-297BZ, 588 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Dial-in number 646-558-8656. ID number 359-995-286. And so we'll just give it a couple of seconds here for allowing for the time delay. And in the meantime, since nothing else needs to be corrected, and the submission was already made, we can close this. So this is something where we can put it on for decision where there's no submission, right? Because the submission was already made. So,
Right.
Are
you ready to do? Cool.
Yeah, I just was giving another, I was stalling is what I'm really doing. Okay. Close and no submission. Okay. All right then. So, and depending on how council feels about this one, we may put it on for decision next week on the 28th. But I need to get council to agree to that. Because this may be a little too tight for them. So, okay. So then I'd like to make a motion to close.
Chair Perlmutter?
Aye.
Vice Chair Chanda?
Vice Chair.
She's muted. She's muted. I can't.
Oh, unmute everybody.
Vice Chair Chanda?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta?
Aye.
Commissioner Shabeta?
Aye.
Application is closed.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well.
You too.
Okay, This concludes the public hearing for April 21st, 2020, 2 p.m. session.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take
It's
care.
still, it's
Take care,
storming over
everyone.
here. Thank you, bye.